Hello everyone, welcome back for some more Let's Play Kagetsu Tohya, or read. I kind of interchange that. Is it playing? Is it reading? It's kind of both. It's a little bit of everything. Letter. Let's go. So we have one more special story here called Dawn. What a very, I want to say innocuous title. It's very open. Could be anything. What do we got? A dark road. A quiet park. The plunging silver light of the moon. The white moon in the sky. A gasp of wonder. Very large. Very fast. Something was chasing me. I like it. Before my eyes, resentfully shattering the dark, was a shape blacker than the night itself. No time to understand. Just a sudden gust of wind, that's all it felt like. The world suddenly seemed to spin. I could see the moon hanging in the sky. Suddenly it was chipped. I let out a scream. Red moon. Why? Cold. Eerie moon. I saw the moon so large as if it were leaning over me. Scared. Going to swallow me. I could hear the sounds of water. Sounds of a lake quietly spreading across the earth. Sinking. Sinking into the water. Dark, sinking into that lake. Cold. The moon is so red. Red moon in a black world. I was dreaming, in a dream in which I could not awaken. I dreamt. Well, that was just some good prose. Even maybe possibly poetry. I slowly awoke. Near my pillow I could hear the rhythmical tick-tick-tick of a clock, announcing its existence to the world. Lord knows we wouldn't be anywhere without that clock. I would go insane with a ticking clock. A look showed me that it was a few minutes past midnight. I wonder why I woke up. It's not something to brag about, but I'm one of those people who, once they get to sleep, don't wake up until morning. That's me. People that are like, sometimes I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I can't do that. I just wait till morning. Even so, since I did wake up in the middle of the night like this, it wouldn't be strange if something was wrong. Or maybe I felt something happen. I sat up. The pale moonlight shining in through the window illuminated the room. A familiar room. There was nothing unusual. Tonoshiki's room was the same as always. But what was this urgency boiling inside me? My throat was rasping dry as if it had gone for days without a drop of water. A pounding deep behind my eyes. My pulse raced. My body's temperature suddenly seemed to rise. I stood up and walked to the desk. I opened the top drawer, and there was a knife sitting there. Nanatsuya. 7 nights. Only that carved into the handle of the solid, unadorned switchblade. In the series of events 6 months ago, I had protected my life with this knife. I wiped away the dust and picked it up. What's with these pauses? It fit perfectly. Almost as if it were an extension of my hand, as if it had no weight at all. The feeling of a knife helped calm me. Something is happening tonight. My experience told me that. However, it's not something that a normal person like me needs to worry about, right? But for some reason I had awoken, and I couldn't stop feeling if there was an important reason for that. I shifted the knife in my hand a few times, then, gripping it tightly, I aimed for the terrace and began to walk. The thin curtains of the window opened and, prickling my skin, the crimson moon, a black world like a dark lake. The perfect roundness of the full white moon. I opened the window and let the cool, fresh air of summer flow in. The stagnant air inside flowed out. I took a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. I calmly looked up at the sky. The white moon. A very unpleasant feeling. Almost as if something was broken. Like the moon floating the night sky. In the night sky, you forgot? There was an emptiness in my heart. I clicked my tongue at the reasonless unease that was born in my chest. Then I went out into the terrace and jumped. The wind jumbled behind me with my passage. Unfortunately, with the strength of my legs, it was difficult to leave the Tono estate in one bound. It was easiest to leave by the front door, but then either Hisui or Kohaku. One of them might be there. Then Akiha would find out why are they capitalized. That's very strange. If that happened, then she'd have something to say to me at breakfast time. Possible, I'd like to avoid that. Because it's not good to worry my little sister too much. So I used the branches of the surrounding trees as stepping stones and headed for the wall. I knew where all the security cameras were located. There's security cameras? That's a surprise. Okay, but getting to the wall without being seen required a rather large detour. Sometimes living in a mansion with such large grounds is really a pain. Finally, I saw the wall. Thank God it wasn't the Nostalgia Critic version. This wall, seeming as if it was built high enough to cut off the estate from the surrounding world, wasn't something I much liked. It always feels too gloomy. I leapt over the rampart-like walls. My breath was not short in the slightest. Just then, I felt my heart contract, my pulse race. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. The beating multiplied. 20, 50, 100. It was as if there were countless hearts within my body that had begun beating rapidly. No, it's probably just the ringing in my ears. Because multiple hearts beating forth in chorus just couldn't be real. I dissolved into heavy gasping. Impatient, unease, fear and their ilk ruled me, spreading through my body as if carried by my arteries. It felt as if there was some unknown person had stolen control of my body from me. But even so, my mind was calm. The hand I thrust out to keep from falling resounded surprisingly loudly against the wall, I thought, and wondered if I might have hurt myself. My vision twisted. Pure red. A crimson world, as if a child had run wild with red paint. Pure red. Clothes dyed black. Watery world. That was the view spread before me. Buddy, you're having a normal one, aren't you? I looked around and the world had completely changed. Just a moment ago I'd been standing next to the Tono estate, but now it looks like an alley in downtown. Although I don't know of any red-dyed alleys. Right then I noticed it. For a moment I didn't understand what it was. After all, it was dark. And it wasn't any shape I'd guess. The main reason why I didn't want to admit what it was, because recognizing it would be bad for my mental health, my ability to accept it was probably low. But I soon understood. My mind quickly recovered. In times of conflict and crisis, the higher your ability to recognize and accept things, the greater your chance of survival. Because of that, the many times I had towed the line of death, my ability to recognize and accept was far better than normal people. But this time, that was a bitter gift. Filling the air around me was the scent of fresh blood. It was a mass of flesh. A minced, squashed, torn, smashed, dissolved, utterly destroyed human. In places, something white stuck out. Pink organs were scattered all about. Something gray had splattered from a round thing that looked like it might have been a head. Dragging something thread-like behind it, a ping-pong-sized ball had rolled along the ground. But it wasn't the right volume for one human either. It was an atrocious giant mass of flesh that was more than any person could bear to see. Good thing I played Resident Evil. Something burned in my throat. Telling someone to endure this would be a horrible thing. These incomprehensible to normal mind dead bodies. As if seizing my throat, it burned into my eyes. That pure red. Drip, drip, warm blood still fell. A sniff filled my nostrils with a unique scent of blood. Did I do that? Sorry. I can't read that and not think Urkel. Did I kill them and turn them into that strange thing? I had no memories between the Tono estate and here. Like blanks coming from a broken projector. So, did I do this during that gap? It should have been impossible. This isn't a deed that humans can do. To tear something apart like that, no, that's not something a normal human could do. But then why are my hands dripping blood? It's a safe bet the blood on these hands is blood from those bodies. Oh, he's having an absolutely normal one. Clip clop? Footsteps. Nanako? They cleared my thoughts. Is it alright to be seen here? I don't know whether I did this or not, but being seen here would be bad. I looked around me, but this was a dead end. No place to run, no place to hide. Unable to think of anything, I waited and watched for the person to see me. At last the footsteps grew louder, and the approaching person stepped out of the moonlight and revealed herself. A woman, body wrapped in dark clothing. Her age appeared fairly close to my own, even if that was a lie. When she looked at me, I saw a somewhat intimate expression on her face. Does this woman not see the dead bodies? Well, no, she couldn't. If she was a normal person, there's no way she could stand before bodies like this and have an expression like that. And then in front of a man with blood-drenched hands. It's been a while, Tono-kun. She spoke to me in a friendly voice. Huh? I know I sounded idiotic even as I spoke. My, Tono-kun, surely you haven't forgotten me. You're really quite cold, aren't you, Tono-kun? Forgetting about me in just 6 months. Oh, this is actually a long time. Tono. That's right. That's my name. Is it really? That's right. Tonoshiki knows this girl. CL-senpai? She smiled. That's right, Tono-kun. Senpai, hadn't you returned to the Vatican? Yes, I was at the Vatican until yesterday. Then my superiors ordered that... Here her lips twisted as if she was about to say something distasteful. Tono-kun, are you still with her? Her? Yes, Arkwid Brunstud, Princess of the True Ancestors. Who? Yeah, I thought so. Well, since it seemed like she had not returned to the Millennium Castle, nor does she seem to be hunting down the remaining dead apostles, my superiors become a little uneasy about what she was doing. So I'm here representing the burial agency to keep an eye on her. But CL-senpai looked around and then shook her head. Gotten dragged into more trouble, Tono-kun? Huh? This is impressive. Amazing destructive power. Was she the one that did this? Huh? Humans couldn't do this. Just look. Over there's a human arm. Torn cleanly off. With just human strength, that is impossible. Anything that could do this is not human. CL-senpai looked at me. There was nothing gentle in those eyes now. Her cold gaze, sharp enough to kill, speared me. Feeling that piercing gaze, I gulped. Tono-kun? Was she the one who did this? Was it Arkwid? Or was it a different dead apostle? If you know anything, please tell me. Sorry, I only just got here myself, so I don't know anything. I see. Well, if you say that, then I'll believe you. She put on a thinking expression as she passed in front of me and drew near to the pile of flesh. Spotting something, she squatted and picked up some rod-like object. You dropped this, Tono-kun. In CL-senpai's hand was a knife. This is your treasured knife, isn't it? Yeah. I took the knife from her. The blade was untouched by blood. However, when I took it, the handle was stained red. I was wondering, Tono-kun, aren't you hot in that coat? Coat? Looking a little surprised, she pointed at my coat. Certainly, most of the time you wouldn't wear a black trench coat in the summer. The next question would be whether I have any fashion sense at all. And since the front was sealed tight, it must look quite warm. But it wasn't as hot as she might think. It's true that an Aloha shirt wouldn't look right on you, Tono-kun, but even so, a trench coat at this point in the summer? Do we have art of Shiki in a Hawaiian shirt? I want that. Yeah. In my response, CL-senpai just sighed. Tono-kun, she's a true ancestor, so she'd be fine with just a shirt even in the chill of midwinter. But you're human. You don't need to force yourself to match her. Yeah. Okay, something's up with him. Something's really up, right? She looked around again. Looks like I'm gonna need to discuss this incident with her. Tono-kun, you know where she is, right? No, dunno. I'm not gonna pick a fight as soon as we meet. Right now I'm sufficiently grown up after all. No, I really don't know. Is that so? Yeah. Okay, I got it. I'll search for her myself. Tono-kun, you should probably get away from here soon. I'll be taking down the barrier. Yeah. Boy, he is just not really speakative. That's a word, speakative. Yeah. No, I'm coining it right now. Speakative. It's like talkative, but speaky. Well then, Tono-kun, when this incident is taken care of, I'll see you again. With that, CL-senpai spun around on her heel and walked off. I also started walking. First, I need to wash my hands and return to the mansion. That's right. My life as Tonoshiki is waiting for me. Tonoshiki? Is that my name? Yeah, this isn't him. This is something else. Something or someone else. Suddenly my sight shook. All the strength seemed to flow from me, as if something had stolen control of my body, as if someone other than myself was moving it. I wonder if I called out now, would she hear me? If I collapse here, my coat would be soaked with blood. So I thought then... My gaze twisted. I am still dreaming. Huh. Oh, we're at the park. I awoke. A park bench. That was the first thing I thought when I opened my eyes. I was lying on a park bench. I sat up. There was no one nearby. The park was wrapped in darkness with only the occasional lamppost lit. Other than that, the only light was that which poured from the heavens and pierced my eyes, Yeah. Red moon. Moonlight. I was uncomfortable, but gazing at my surroundings was unpleasant. I stood and looked around again, but I could hear nothing but the chirping of insects. So this is the park at night. I glanced at my hands. There's no trace of blood, nor any on my coat. As if to say that seeing those dead bodies was just a dream, all signs of blood were gone from my body. That's right, that was just a dream. It's nothing but a dream. Then I realized that there was something in my pocket. Pulled it out. It was a knife. Handle smeared with something crimson. The proof that it was not a dream. It really happened, but even if that was reality, what reason do I have to be afraid? That CL Senpai person said it, right? That wasn't something done by a human. And then the only weapon I have had no blood on its blade. Right. I didn't do anything. I sighed in relief. Maybe rude to those who died, but to me, the fact that it wasn't me that killed them is more important. Anyways, I'm not a murderer. I sat on the bench. What should I do now? Well, first I should go home, but what after that? Avenge those people? Out of the question. I had no confidence that I would survive taking on something that could kill people like that. Probably be best to just stay in the mansion, waiting for the storm to pass. Being a hero like that just isn't in character for me. I'm just one of those little people that takes care of themselves. Oh yeah, you are not Shiki. With a grunt like some old geezer I stood. The night sky was beginning to brighten. It must be almost 4 a.m. Even if I go straight home now, will I be able to make it into bed without meeting anyone? Shiki! Uh-oh, this is absolutely Arkwood. Someone called. I looked up in the direction, and at what had arrived without me noticing. A woman stood there. Yep. Wearing white clothes with golden hair down to her shoulders. Crimson eyes, smiling a bright smile at me. A beauty! You don't see people this beautiful often. That earlier CL Senpai was good looking too, but she couldn't compare to this woman. What shining beauty. Even other women must admire it. Something wrong, Shiki? Dangerous. This one's dangerous. Arkwood? What? She smiled at me. A winning, warm smile. It shone purely with all the joy she felt for life. I felt horribly jealous. Then... Arkwood's smile froze. You're not Shiki? I shivered as if some fever filled my body. At that moment, my body jumped. I leapt backwards. That one leap opened the distance to myself and Arkwood by almost 30 meters. But even so, my shaking didn't stop. My body knew it was still well within her attack radius. Who are you? Crimson eyes, filled with unnatural power, they glared at me. It felt as if a spear of ice had been thrust through my spine. Danger. My life was in danger. I could feel my death drawing me closer. What are you? The air around her seemed to change. Almost as if wrapping in flames, waves seemed to rise in the air around her. I stiffened. Bloodlust. Striking out from Arkwood, a strong bloodlust. A lethal anger. If I'm exposed to this for even a few more seconds, I'll go mad. But there was nothing I could do. I could think of no way to run and no way to fight. My thoughts just stumbled in empty circles. Glaring at me with her dreadful killing gaze, she began to walk forward. One step, then another. A distance of a mere 30 meters would take no longer than a breath for her, but she continued her deliberate pace. Ah! I let loose a howl. There was no way I could oppose this enemy and survive. His flesh would be pulverized, just overwhelmingly overwhelming difference in strength. Like an elephant and an ant, the impossible to overcome difference in strength is before me. Scared, 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 scared. This was unplanned for. I don't want to die again. My coat shook. Huh? Arkwood sounded surprised. From within my coat. I was gonna say, when the black trench coat came up. When we brought up the black trench coat, I'm like, that sounds a lot like what Nero's wearing. Oh my god. Is this what if Shiki became chaos? 3 black beasts jumped forth. Black beasts. Those 3 black dogs were blown away by a single swipe of Arkwood's slender hand and dissolved into a pile of something like mud. There was no further pursuit from Arkwood. Instead, those crimson eyes stared warily at me. For me, was quite convenient. But just what was that? Those black animals. And it felt like they jumped out of my body. As if my body was entirely composed of those monsters. Yet, there were still things I didn't understand. Those dogs were enough to make even a monster like this Arkwood cautious, even though she destroyed them with one strike. Nero Chaos. So you still exist. Nero Chaos? Who's that? And still exists, isn't that a strange thing to say? Ignoring my confusion, Arkwood continued to mutter. Truly, you are the dead apostle who bears the name Chaos. To survive even Shiki's eyes of death perception. Or was that a spare body? Did you prepare a reserve body before you fought with us? Nero Chaos? Black beasts? Something unpleasant filled my brain. Endless memories, or rather fragmentary images. A patchwork of lost still frames. No! This is dangerous. I'm Tono Shiki, that's enough for me. Don't remember. If I remember, then I'll die. But is that okay? Back then I was weak, but this time it's different. Her surroundings shimmered. The air near me suddenly felt cooler. No, it really was becoming colder. As if what she was imagining was becoming real. It's true that I cannot kill you myself, but I can keep you from going anywhere until I bring Shiki here. The air around me suddenly froze solid. Or so I thought. Huh? Arkwood gave another dumbfounded gasp. She sounded as if she put her full strength into that attack only to have it fail. Surely you haven't begun to approach true chaos. The overwhelming bloodlust began to fade. With a low rumble, countless more black beasts flew from within my coat. At the same time, I turned and ran. I could hear Arkwood shouting behind me, but I had neither the time nor the need to pay attention. I just ran for my life. It's kind of scary. Becoming Nero was terrifying. The sun was bright. I was walking, not anywhere in particular, just wherever my legs happened to carry me. After I ran away from Arkwood, I was wandering aimlessly. I wonder where to go. I wonder where I should be going. I am not Tono Shiki. Then, am I the one called Nero Chaos? I really did kill the people back there. That beast, as that black beast, I was able to kill people in such a gruesome way. The black beast. The black beast. There's something I've forgotten. Something very important. All attempts at remembering fail as if I was trying to put spilled water back in the cup. As if every rising memory was sinking into a sea of memories again. I opened the front of my coat. The dim light outlines a body that looks constructed. It feels elastic to the touch. Quite unlike human skin that seemed more like soft rubber. This is not a human body. Am I no longer human? Certainly not with this body. Even though I hardly had time for it, I couldn't help but laugh. I walked past students in school uniforms on the way to club activities. I walked past people on the way to work. I just gave them fleeting cold glance in passing. Did I have any allies in this world? Without memory, hunting people, a monster. The sun was so bright. I felt like the sunlight itself was stealing away my strength. But where could I relax? A hotel? A deserted house? A park? Where should I be safe? Then I remembered. The safest place in the world. Yamase. Yamase read the nameplate before the house. A normal house. A normal neighborhood. I passed through the gate. I tried the doorknob, but of course it was locked. So I picked the potted plant that sat next to the entranceway and pulled the key that lay beneath it. Hiding the key in a place like that, truly careless. It should be hidden somewhere a little more subtle. Even though there's nothing valuable, they really should at least take that much care. Never can tell when a murderer might come sneaking in. Slid the key into the lock and turned. Click. The sound of the door unlocking. I turned the knob and slid inside. The house returned to silence. It didn't feel as if anyone was in the building. Casually strolled in. "I'm home!" No response. Of course, this house's residents had already left. If they hadn't, there'd be no need to put out an extra key, would there? An house with just a mother and child, and obviously the mother would have already left for work by this hour. I'm home. Smiling at my own silliness, I looked around. So what should I do now? Started to think then. I'm hungry. I need... Oh my god, is this just Venom? This is just Venom.
I'm hungry. I need nourishment soon. The strength of my flesh is growing weaker.
Felt my heart contract, my pulse race. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. The beating multiplied. 20, 50, 100. This time I knew what those heartbeats were. The heartbeats of those black beasts that I'm made of. I opened the front of my coat and I could see countless red eyes floating in the black rubbery surface. Countless starving eyes, imploring me second by second to give them their chance to come forth.
An incredible strong entreaty filled my head. My gaze began to twist.
No.
My consciousness began to vanish. No.
If it happens here, then when this house's residents
return, the chance of meeting those black beasts is too high.
Beneath my clothes,
my body twitched and bulged.
Frantically controlling it, I head to the kitchen. This is just Venom. Marshalling my fading mind, I spotted the refrigerator. The Yamase family's proud purchase, the giant fridge that each week is filled with all the food for the family. I specially bought at the store for that purpose. I opened it. I pulled out some raw meat and shoved it against my body. With a slurp, it was sucked in. I could hear chewing sounds. I pushed more meat against my body, and again it was sucked in. This is terrifying. About the time all the food in the refrigerator was gone, my hunger finally stopped. For some reason, I was very sad. Closing my coat, I directed my legs up the stairs to the second floor.
Don't go there. I don't need to know.
A step forward. My body was struck by draining exhaustion. Step. Another step. At the top of the stairs were the doors to 2 rooms. Maiko Yamase? Who's that? Maiko's room. And then A-kemi. Who are these characters? 2 cute nameplates, names written cleanly in hiragana hung on the doors. Oh, those are children's rooms. I stood before the door labeled Maiko's. I gulped. For some reason, I knew I shouldn't open this door. Probably it'd be best to turn around and just walk away. But I knew that I needed to open it. I stood staring for a moment and then opened the door. Inside was a neat and tidy room. A pink carpet and a bed adorned with cute dolls. Feels like a girl's room. I entered the room. My sight began to shake dizzily. I wanted to leave as soon as possible. But there was something I needed to do here. For myself. The room condition, something about it really bothered me. It was too tidy. As if there wasn't anyone who actually used the room, but it got cleaned anyway. As if it was ready for the occupant's return at any time. I glanced into the trash can. As expected, there was nothing inside. It was just collecting dust. A dusty trash can. There could be only one reason for that. This room wasn't being lived in. I turned to the desk. Picked up a notebook. Supposed to be cute, I guess. In round letters, the contents of classes were neatly copied. From just this one notebook, I could grasp the personality of this room's inhabitant. Then I noticed an unadorned picture frame. I reached out to pick it up, then froze. This emotion. This is terror, huh? Just looking at the frame awoke a deep, binding terror. It stopped me from doing anything. But there was only one thing I could do. Sucking in a deep breath, I gathered all my courage and reached out to the frame. The picture in that frame looked to be a family picture. A woman who seemed to be a mother and 2 girls. 2 girls. One girl with long hair. And one more girl, very similar to the long-haired girl but with short hair. Happily smiling. The mother looking on, smiling gently.
Ah, that's right. Pitter-patter crumbled. My dream crumbled.
I returned the picture to the desk, then pulled a photo album off the shelves. The records of the 2 girls growing up. Both so happy, as if the 2 of them were a single set. Fit into a single picture. What is this feeling in my heart? My head shook. My gaze turned red. Then the world broke. Run! I heard that shout from somewhere. What was that about? I looked around, but I didn't see anything happening. But somebody seemed to be in danger. That voice seemed quite tense, but not at all joking. If that's true, I should go help. Yeah, people should help each other. I'm a black belt in karate, after all. What? Okay, that's new. Against a knife. Then I'm pretty sure of myself. Today was special, after all. In that silver-lit park, I moved quickly towards that voice. His body is all cracked. My nourishment has been quite insufficient. Quiet voice. A different person than before. Conveniently, it seems something nutritious has arrived. With heavy, rhythmical footsteps, some huge black thing ran towards me. It looked like some black beast. As my scream escaped, the wind slashed by my face. My vision tumbled. A deep red puddle was spreading. My clothes were drenched in something cold. Even then I knew I needed to flee. My body wouldn't move. Like this, my clothes would be stained all red. My favorite clothes that my little sister gave me for my birthday. I wonder if it'll come out in the wash. What'll I do if it doesn't? Maybe I should take them to the cleaners first. I could feel something dragging me. Stop, I don't want my clothes to tear. It may not bother her, but it would bother me. This is strange. In the sky, a pure red moon. As if my eyes were filled with blood, a pure red moon. I like the white moon, but I hate this red moon. Crunch, bite, tear. Rip, chew, swallow. I feel a little sleepy. But I need to get home. Today is my sister's birthday. I need to finish getting her present ready. That's right, that was my face. That was me in that photo. That was where I died. Oh, it's not Venom. It's a little girl. Dream is over. I'm home. Mom, you there? Followed by footsteps climbing the stairs. I didn't know what to do. Should I run? If so, then jumping out the window would work. With this body, that'd be easy. But I couldn't. I, Yamase Maiko, want to meet this girl. Behind me, I heard something heavy fall to the floor. I turned around. There stood my little sister, Yamase A-kemi, wearing a shocked face. Oh, you have a sprite. Nei-san? Long time no see. You look good. I'm glad. Nei-san. With flowing tears, A-kemi tried to embrace me, but I avoided her. That earlier feeding couldn't escape my mind. Nei-san? Sorry. There's a reason I can't hug you. That doesn't matter. I knew you were alive, Nei-san. We've been worried. It hurt. My heart hurt. My crying sister, it hurt. A-kemi, I'm dead. Huh? I begged God. Just for today, I've returned to this world. That can't be, Nei-san. It's true. For a moment, I hesitated. Then I flung open my coat. Ah! A-kemi held both her hands to her mouth and stepped back. My body was nothing but a black mass with only the outline of a woman's body. No surprise she's scared. I expected it, but seeing that reaction from my beloved sister hurt. See? My body doesn't belong to this world anymore. Nei-san, you know? Just a guess, but the reason I came back to this world's probably for you, A-kemi. So I could tell you, happy birthday. It just occurred to me. Nei-san. Stay well, okay? Take care of yourself. I'll always be watching over you. And stay out of the park at night, okay? Nei-san, wait. At least wait for Mom to... Sorry. I'm already out of time. No, not like this. Oh, Nei-chan. You finally came back. A-kemi's cute face twisted up and tears poured out. Oh, Nei-chan. Oh, yeah. How nostalgic. Long ago, A-kemi used to call me that. But at what point did she stop calling me Onei-chan and start using Nei-san? That's right, it was when she entered high school. I felt it was too childish, and I got mad at her for it. When Mom was off at work, I was the one who took care of A-kemi. That's why she always followed me around. Always quietly crying, following me. To protect my sister from bullying boys, I studied karate. And the end result of my karate studies opened her heart, and from then on, she always stuck to my side. Even though she was far smarter than I was, she took the same entrance exams just to be in the same high school as me. To try to make her stand out on her own, I pushed her away a little. Ever since then, A-kemi referred to me as a Nei-san. Oh, Nei-chan, me and Mom, we always believed you'd come back. We knew you'd definitely come back. It's like seeing the past A-kemi all over again. Sniffling, sobbing, my little sister. Why can't I cry? There are so many things I wanted to tell you, so I waited for you. It hurt. At least one day. It hurt too much. I just silently walked past her. Wait, One-chan. A-kemi grabbed my arm. Her hand began to sink into my flesh. I slapped her hand away. One-chan. Looking at her hand, my dear sister's face was scared. Stay well, okay? Giving my farewell, I left the house. I could sense A-kemi chasing me, so I shook her off with one great leap. I wondered what I should do now. So why were people mistaking us for Shiki? In fact, why did we wake up in Shiki's room? This is very confusing. Eventually night came. I stood alone in the park. The park where I died. Maybe they'd grown too starved, but I somehow managed to maintain control of my body. However, I could feel the end approaching. If I should lose control, then the beasts of my body would probably fill their hunger on all the people nearby. I don't want that. I don't want there to be any more people like me. So I silently stood watching the night sky and the slowly sinking moon. Ah, the pure red moon. Red as if dyed scarlet. Part of me was horribly impatient, but another part horribly calm. Utter ambivalence. So this is what it feels like to wait for your own execution. How I acquired this form, I don't know. In my mind, it really is near miraculous. If possible, I really want to spend more time with my family, but I can't. I don't think I could restrain myself from eating people. How much time passed? Suddenly I felt someone arrive. Then... So you were here, such confidence. Although your shape has changed. The voices of two women. Arkwid-san and Ciel-san. I stood up from my bench. The two I'd been expecting, but also protected behind Arkwid's back a single man. He wore a pair of glasses over a grim face. He must be Tonoshiki. He staggered weakly. His face was very pale. No matter how you look at it, this is one unhealthy young man. Is it all right for him to be here? Here I am about to be killed and I'm still worrying about others. Ciel-san swung her arm in a simple motion. Thunk, thunk, thunk! 3 needle-like blades pierced my body. The tips stuck out of my back. But there was no pain. No feeling of being stabbed at all. I pulled the blades out and tossed them aside. They rung loudly as they hit the ground. As I said, Ciel, our attacks won't work on that. So it seems, Arkwid. To get hit by my black keys and not even twitch, well, a normal vampire couldn't manage that. I couldn't ignore those words. What? You can't kill me? That's right. We can't. Your flesh is now very close to real chaos. Chaos itself is a world of its own, fusing heaven and earth. To destroy that chaos, that is your flesh, would require enough power to destroy the entire world. Ever since the earth was created, nothing has held that much power. So, question. When we talk about chaos, is this different from the primordial god chaos? Like, as in, like, the one which the Greek gods came from? Because chaos could be a concept, or it could be a specific deity. I don't know, actually. Because that's real interesting if that's the case. That is incredibly interesting if that's the case, right? But Shiki is different. Right, Tono-kun's eyes of death perception can kill even an entity like you. Because Tono-kun can kill, not the concept of chaos, but rather the concept of you. So that's why you brought someone so ill. That's because you separated from Shiki's body. Oh? Arkwid shouted almost angrily. No, she actually was angry. For some reason, you... Okay. A piece of Nero's ruin that should have stayed a part of Shiki's body developed your own will. Right. Because Shiki had a bit of Nero in him. That sounds bad. And this must, okay. That's why you and Shiki were both around at the same time. If it weren't for the blood of the two girls, even bringing Shiki here would be really dangerous. Interesting. Now I understand. This body's starving hunger isn't actually hunger. The one that originally used this body used some method to describe the structure of flesh. Wait, used some method to describe the structure the flesh was used to maintain. Oh, well, that's complicated. But to a normal person like me, that sort of difficult trick is impossible. In the end, since I separated from Shiki-kun's body, the body needed to draw in a new shape information from outside the body. In other words, this wasn't a simple hunger. Collapsing existence. Reversion to perfect chaos. Perfect chaos? Sonic Adventure time. And the techniques to prevent that. To preserve this body, to preserve a human-like body that would not fall into chaos, it needed to supply something similar. Thus, eating people. After all, I can't live on without killing people. I'm a monster, after all. I did not think we'd get cute anime girl Nero Chaos. Although, to think about that, wasn't the start of all this because you taught Tono-kun some of the fragmented magic from your meager knowledge? Sia-san's gaze caused Arkwid-san to flinch. That's... CL! I did for Shiki. And it ended up like this, didn't it? I'm truly looking forward to watching you explain this to Akiha-san. A righteous smirk graced CL-san's face. What? No! Shiki, say something! Well, Arkwid was just thinking about my lifespan when she taught me that. Jealousy. A superficial, playful argument between people who don't even dislike each other. A-kemi and I used to argue like that. Why are these three people playing out such a cruel scene before me? Like a scene from a normal, everyday life. Get up in the morning, eat breakfast with the family, go to school, chat with friends, return home, eat a family dinner, sleep. The utterly boring, irreplaceable, precious daily life. Mom was there in A-kemi. That quiet, restful scenery. What I now long for from the bottom of my heart. What I cannot have. Such a small thing. Until you lose it, you never realize it was there. That giant, desperate desire. Why are they forcing me to watch that? I pulled the knife out of my pocket and tossed it to Shiki-kun. As I expected, Arkwid-san grabbed it in midair before passing it to Shiki-kun herself. Then Arkwid-san and Ciel-san both silently stepped back. This pale-faced, ill Shiki-kun is to take care of me, it seems. A human will take care of me? With a sigh, he removed his glasses. Blue eyes. Terribly cold, evil eyes. Eyes of someone who believes that if you're close enough to the Wi-Fi router, it should be fine. As if shining with their own light, those fascinating eyes. They left the same feeling in my heart as Arkwid-san's crimson eyes. Suddenly the beast began to writhe within my body, as if triggered by the magic of those blue eyes, or maybe they simply understood how dangerous those eyes were. Survival instincts, they suddenly awoke, but I forced them down. The beast struggled for a little, then grudgingly subsided. How skillful I become at controlling this body in just a few hours. Shiki-kun's cold eyes quietly watched me. Do you think you can kill me with that tiny little knife? Deliberately I jested with him, but he still said nothing, just continued to silently watch. Is it just my imagination that he looks like a predator waiting for its prey? Why don't you say something? I suddenly broke into a run. My body felt so light. In that moment, my surrounding was left behind. No joke, just pure physical strength. I clenched my right hand, a hard boulder-like fist. Just a single strike from this body and a human would die easily. It had that much strength, I now knew. But for that same reason, I held back. I don't want to kill anyone anymore. Shiki-kun dove under it and stuck out his knife. But a tiny blade like that couldn't kill me. So there's no reason to bother dodging. I wish he'd get serious about this. And that's how you lose. The knife pierced my chest, then I felt a chill that penetrated all the way to the bottom of my heart. The instant I felt myself being stabbed, I knew that I was beginning to fade. That this was probably a fatal wound. One that I would definitely not be able to revive from. My mind began to scatter, sinking into the darkness. Thankfully, it didn't hurt. I didn't want to hurt anymore. Suddenly, my body jerked and writhed. With its commander, me dying, the beast that composed this body began to run wild. As if my thread was stretched to its limits, their struggles became stronger. From my body, starving beasts, bears and tigers and lions and wolves and sharks and other creatures I couldn't recognize sprang forth like water from a fountain. But as those countless beasts jumped from my body and attacked those 3 people, they were pierced by dark needle-like blades or killed by single strikes from Markwood-san. It's all right. These people can actually kill me. It's all right now. Oh, the heartbeat's slowing down. One-chan. Oh boy. A familiar voice from a girl that shared my blood. At the edges of my fading sight, several beasts ran towards that voice. My mind, melting into the darkness, suddenly returned. Oh no, collapsing, breaking, fading. My flesh, my soul, my mind. But if a miracle had brought me back once, and a miracle could help me again, so I ran, steadily, my body, or rather my spirit was crumbling, turning into a viscous black mass. But just a little more. Before that precious girl, one beast, a large black tiger, With a roar, I grappled with the beast. A-kemi looked at me in surprise. Shiki-kun arrived half a step behind me with a flash of his knife. The tiger collapsed, and just like it, I too collapsed. Bye, huh? Kemi began to cry. Behind her stood Arkwood-san and Seal-san looking unhappy. And bewildered, as if he didn't understand what was happening, Shiki-kun. One-chan, no, don't die. I'll do anything, please. Summoning all my remaining strength, I smiled, so that in the end I could show A-kemi my best face. One-chan. A-kemi is still such a crybaby, but I can't protect her anymore. A-kemi, smile. I can't. If you come back, then I'll smile, but yeah, I can't. Distant, my mind was fading, my spirit fading. A-kemi, smile. For me too. Smile. At the end, let me see your smile. One-chan, okay. I'll smile. See? I'm smiling. Be strong. I was always there to protect you, right? The world was dark, everything growing so distant. One-chan. Twinkling, tears fell on my face. I wonder if it looks like I'm crying. The moon. So beautiful. Pure white moon. The white moon in the sky. The crimson washed away by those tears. The end of the dream. My dream so short yet so long is now over. Well, that was interesting. That was an interesting one. I don't think it was the best. I think the writing quality was quite good, right? Like the actual quality of the written work. I think the story itself wasn't as good. I think mechanically it was a well-written sort of side story, but I don't know. I felt like it was a little too fast, right? I felt like it needed at least a couple more scenes to really go into it. But I guess the fleetingness is kind of the whole deal, right? Character personal data, CL. That's her states. Wow, 85. Dang. 88 with the hips. Gosh dang. And oh my goodness. Summer festivals. Oh man. We got that, which is good because, I mean, if I go to the fun disc here, what are we at here? Oh, no, we got it. Okay, so you again. Okay, do we have them all? Okay, well, I went to the jukebox, and then I go back. Now, is there more? Yes. Okay. So I heard that most of these are porn, which makes me scared. Especially Keep It in the Family. I'm really worried for that one. Well, I'll do it, and let's see what it is. Oh, no. What? Oh my god, it's Phoenix Wright style. Sister, sister, go to bed. Go and rest your weary head. Thus the prudent brother said. Do you want a battered hide or scratches to your face applied? Thus his sister calm replied. I'm worried, sister, do not raise my wrath. I'd make you into mutton broth as easily as kill a moth. Oh, that's bad. The sister raised her head. I'm really worried. I'm really worried when we're going to get to the sex that is almost certain. The sister raised her beaming eye and looked on him indignantly and sternly answered, only try. That didn't rhyme the best. Off to the cook he quickly ran. Dear cook, please lend a frying pan to me as quickly as you can. And wherefore should I lend it to you? The reason, cook, is plain to view. I wish to make an Irish stew. What meat is this stew in that stew to go? My sister'll be the contents. Oh, you'll lend the pan to me, cook? No. Moral: never stew your sister. Oh, thank God it wasn't porn. Oh, thank God. We did it. We did it. It's not a thing. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. That makes me happy. How many things are we missing in the gallery here?
Are you kidding me? Fun could be my middle name. Like another tongue twister? You can just say yes or no.
No.
I'm speechless. Well, not really. I have some very eloquent quotes to share. Can I give you one?
Stop.
Okay, I'll be here if you need me.
I just got in an argument with my home device. It just wouldn't shut up. Okay. Guest illustrations. So we are missing a couple. Are those nip nops? Those are nip nops I'm going to have to cover. Great. Cool. Okay, so we're missing one of them. Yeah, that's nip nops. I'm going to have to just leave that covered. Cool, great, awesome. I didn't think there'd be any there, but alas, there are nip nops. So yeah, we are missing the one guest illustration again, so we'll definitely get that for sure. But for now, the nice thing is I can just look up what number that one is, and then when we go to the scene select, we can get that, because apparently you need to unlock all the pictures to get the final scene. But next time, let's head off to the summer festivals then. Excited to check those out. I wonder what that means. Is it just more dates at the culture festivals, or something else? Or is it like going to the with the yukatas, like one of those summer festivals? I hope so. That'd be nice. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time for some more Kagetsu Tohya. Ciao.